Good morning, and welcome to the third board meeting. This is the first meeting where we have a new board seated. So after we go through the Pledge of Allegiance and approval of agendas, I'll reintroduce everyone again. So welcome, and we will now have the, before I'm getting crazy here, I must establish a quorum. We have our entire board here, so I can call the meeting to order. All right, Pledge of Allegiance with Director Connolly.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, do I have a motion to approve the agenda?
I so move.
I second.
And I'm going all backwards today, so you have to forgive me. I'm going to acknowledge the media. We're going from number 4 to number 3, whatever. So, all right, so we have a motion to approve the agenda. It was seconded. All those in favor? Are we voting electronically today? Okay, well, we'll pass that one, and we'll go to the next one. Approval of the minutes. We are going to can approve them all together as a block from A to D unless anyone has an objection. No? All right, do I have a second?
So move.
You move it and seconded. Okay.
Thank you, Steve.
All those in favor? Okay, so all of the minutes are approved. So now it's the report of the chair. So first, I would like to welcome our new board members, and that is Paul Chow and Lynn Jarrett. Thank you very much for joining our board. We also have new officers. Well, I'm not new, but some of them are. So I am the president again. We have as our first vice president, Steve Parsons, who was our treasurer. We have our wonderful second vice president, James Tung. And we have our treasurer, Jack Connolly, who's already pulling his hair out. And we have our secretary, who is beyond that, Roy Bruninghouse. So welcome to all of our officers and welcome to our new board members. Just a few things. We are recruiting for another board member. We have a position that is open, and Cheryl has to keep me in order. We are accepting applications. That means you should go up to the second floor and get an application from one of the admins. If Cheryl isn't there, you could see Whitney or Catherine. And the applications are being accepted until Tuesday, October 30th at 5 p.m. We wanted to give everyone plenty of time. And the nominations close then, and we will be appointing the board member on Tuesday, November 6th. As of now, and we just started this, we have no applications received yet, but please, being on the board is an exciting and wonderful thing, and you can give to your community. The other position that we're recruiting for is for our VMS position. We have a position that the term ends in December, and for that, also go up to the second floor, pick up your application. And they also closed on Tuesday, November 5th. And don't worry, you won't be, if you come up for get an application, you won't be applying for the wrong job. Cheryl will keep it organized. And we will be appointing for that position on the Friday after November 6th, whatever that date is. The 9th, 7th, 8th, the 9th. We'll be appointing it on that day. So, and then we will be announcing the new candidates, hopefully in the press, but also at our next board meeting. And just to let everyone know, the next board meeting, which is on the third Tuesday, happens to be the week of Thanksgiving. Not only were we concerned that a lot of the residents might be away and not be able to watch our board meeting or attend, but a number of our board meetings, board members have things that, family things and things they would like to do. So we are rescheduling the board meeting to Thursday, November 29th. That's the week after Thanksgiving. Same place, same station in here, and then our board members, most of them, will be able to be here. So that's very important for you to know. So the next board meeting will be Thursday, November 29th, same place. Another thing, just to let you know, is each of the boards will be participating in the interviewing for the CEO. And so I will be representing third. We also have a representative from United and from GRF, and we will be working with the VMS team. So I believe that we just finished the collateral piece that we send out to try to get people who are interested in the position. So we will keep you posted. We don't expect that that position will be filled till after the beginning of the year. You know, we just have to, but we are in very good hands with our Chief Operating Officer, Siobhan Foster, so everything will keep moving along, and she's done a terrific job for us, so we're confident that we will stay in good shape. The last thing that I have is I get the paper every week just to read the letters to the editor, and sometimes I read them, and I'm like screaming, and only my dog is there, so she doesn't get upset. But, and the thing is we decided a long time ago that if we saw a letter in the paper, we weren't going to like respond to them in the paper because we don't want to have a battle, you know, I mean, that isn't professional. So generally what we try to do is Catherine Laster always acknowledges the letters that are in the paper and gets back to the resident and tries to tell them what reality is. But we also have our wonderful communications chief or director, Eileen Paulin, who tries to cover something that somebody might be misinformed about in a blast or in the newsletter. So, but the last thing that I want to say is if you see a letter in the paper and what it says bothers you, and you wonder, is that true? Please feel free to contact Eileen. I'm kidding. One of the board members, or if Catherine hasn't gotten back to you, because we want our residents to be informed, and remember the reason why we're here is to take care of our residents and to take care of the community. So that was all. Did I miss anything? No? Okay, good. So the next thing is we are going to have an ETWD, that means El Toro Water District, presentation, and I'm going to have Director Frankel introduce this, and we have to remember that we have a 10-minute limit for this. So once it starts, Cheryl, you have to put the timer on, please, because we are really on a tight schedule. So go ahead, Director Frankel. I'm calling you Dr. Frankel. Doctor. Okay.
Thank you. Good morning. Would you put up the slide, please, Cheryl? We are fortunate here in El Toro. I'm sorry. We are fortunate here in Laguna Woods Village to have reclaimed water. And if you'll note on the slide, most of the village in the purple area is reclaimed water. However, we have been using potable water in several of the areas, and the one in the lower left-hand corner, which is yellow, is the 110 area, and now that has been converted to reclaimed water, although it hasn't been connected yet. And on the right side, you'll see a green area, and that's also part of this phase. El Toro Water District has experience in connecting this, but we feel that it would be useful to have an understanding of how this connection works, because they have to disconnect the potable water and now connect it in reclaimed water, and there's obviously no room for error. We're fortunate. Kathleen Freshley is here to introduce the gentleman from the El Toro Water District who will make the presentation. Catherine was on this board for a couple of terms, and was on the GRF board for a term. And thank you, Catherine, for coming and making this introduction.
Thank you, John. Okay.
Thank you, John. Since we only have 10 minutes, I'm going to be rather quick.
Well,
Okay.
the 10 minutes, the person who's speaking will
Oh,
have 10
okay.
minutes. That doesn't mean you have another 10,
Oh,
though.
I know. I just wanted to be clear because he's at 10 minutes because that's what I had suggested for him. Yeah, Dennis Cafferty is the gentleman who will be making the presentation. He's the Assistant General Manager for El Toro Water District. Has been there by the end of the year 30 years. He has grown within the organization. He's now the Assistant General Manager and has been so involved in the planning and the implementation all through phase 1 and through phase 2, and with his experience in the industry itself, gives us a very strong leadership position. And frankly, for those who are not aware, the El Toro Water District is recognized as a district of distinction platinum level, which is the highest level in the state. Just because of the nature of how we've operated over the years. And so I'd like to have Dennis then make the presentation, and he's going to go through and try to explain to everybody how it's done and the safety issues, the issues that are involved in ensuring that any connection of the recycled system, when we separate from the potable, that there's no way recycled water could get back into the potable system. So, and the health department is, he'll explain, involved in that thing. So, Dennis, it's your show.
Thank you, Catherine.
Good morning. And
Good morning.
thank you very much for having me here this morning. I always enjoy talking about, we've put so much time and effort into recycled water over the last 10 years, which has turned out great for this community as well as some of the others that we serve. As you just, there we go. So our phase 2 project followed up on the first phase we built a couple years ago. As you saw the slide that was up there a moment ago, which is repeated here, the purple is stuff we already built. It's already in service. The yellow area, which was referred to as the 110 area, the kind of the southwest portion of our service area, kind of fills out that area within Third that we've now added. That was about 20,000 feet of pipeline. In addition, the green area, which is actually in United, is another just under 8,000 feet of pipe. Total project cost for this whole overall phase 2 project is about $7 million. And we're happy at this point that all of those pipelines have been installed, which puts us into a position now to start connecting them. That's really what this discussion is about, is the actual on-site retrofits and the connection of that new system to the existing irrigation systems. To begin with, just by definition, the retrofit project is about making that physical connection. We have all the distribution pipelines in the streets now, and now it's time that we go in and tie the existing irrigation systems that are currently being fed by potable water, disconnect them from the potable system, and tie them into the new recycled water distribution system. In addition to that, there are certain retrofits necessary in the existing irrigation systems to make them compliant with all the rules and regulations from the state, as well as the El Toro Water District rules and regulations specific to the use of recycled water. And there are a lot of different requirements that are there purely to make sure that the recycled water is safe, that we're not getting it into the drinking water in any way, shape, or form, that it's not running down the street and getting into creeks and streams. So there's different things we have to do on those sites to make the use of recycled water compliant. So to talk about that kind of process, the area within Third, there are 47 new recycled water meters. All those services have been installed. We'll be connecting them as part of the retrofit project. That project is going to go in 2 phases. I'm going to focus on the first phase this morning. That's 33 of the 47 meters. There's one area in the Third area, kind of down in the Rayo del Sol, Luz del Sol area, that we're going to have to treat a little bit differently. The existing site, there are some unique characteristics of it that are going to require some special attention. So we're going to do that as kind of a second phase of the retrofit. So I'm not going to talk a lot about it today, especially because I only have 7 minutes left. We'll come back when we get to that one to talk in more detail about what we're going to have to do in that area. But there's 47 meters in Third. There'll be another 18 that we're going to be doing in United. So the components of the retrofit project, we're going to start with, there's actually an agreement that we'll have to ask Third to execute. It's exactly the same agreement that we went through when we did the first phase, and that's because while the district is going to pay for the retrofits, we need to have the access rights to come on to Third's property to build the system. It talks about things like warranties and stuff like that. So we'll provide that document for your review. Again, it's going to be the same document that was executed as part of the Phase 1 project, so there shouldn't be anything new. We will have been gone for a while. We just built a bunch of pipeline. All the residents saw us out there, and then we went away. We're going to come back to build these retrofits. So we'll send out some sort of notice so everybody understands why we're back, why we went away, and what we're doing right now. So we keep the residents informed. After that, one of the important things, as Catherine alluded to, and I've said again, it's very important that we make sure there is no possible way that recycled water gets into the drinking water system. So we do what we call cross-connection testing. It requires what's called a two-way shutdown test. We start with the potable water system. So we will literally have to shut off the potable water. Of course, anytime we talk about doing that, the first thing we'll do is notify the resident that will be affected by a shutdown first. So we'll give them advance warning, give them a time frame. Usually we'll have to shut the potable water off for about an hour. What we end up doing is going out and bleeding off a little bit of pressure, and then we run around every accessible hose bib or anything that's tied in the potable system. We check the pressure to make sure it doesn't build back up. If we've shut off the potable meter and we still don't have pressure, we can be assured that it's not tied into the irrigation system. But just to be safe, we'll then do the same thing on the irrigation side, hence the term two-way shutdown test. So we'll go shut off the irrigation system with the potable still online, and then go check to make sure the pressure doesn't build back up. And by checking both sides, we can be absolutely confident that there is no buried connection between the potable system and the recycled system that would allow recycled water to get into the drinking water. Once we've completed that, then it's time to get to work. The actual site work starts with system identification. It's very important that we make sure that the recycled water system is clearly identified, so everybody knows what's recycled water and what isn't. We do that with little plates on boxes. We put tags on control valves. These are a couple pictures of some of the facilities we did as part of the Phase 1. So an existing irrigation box that we put the little plate on, or existing control valves that we tie a little tag to, so it's very obvious what's recycled water. Once we've completed that, there's some piping work we have to do. In a perfect world, and where we could, we landed the recycled water meter, which you see on the left, right next to the existing irrigation meter, so it was very easy to tie in. Unfortunately, we couldn't do that in every case. In some places, it might have taken another 1,000 feet of pipe in the street in order to do that, or we end up putting some of the pipeline within the turf areas itself. So in some places, we'll have to excavate a trench relatively shallow, like you see in this picture, to run the recycled water meter to the existing irrigation system. We also put in quick couplers, the actual recycled water meter and pressure regulating valves. That's kind of the components going from the irrigation service actually to the irrigation system. The quick couplers, you can't have hose bibs on a recycled water system. So we replace them with quick couplers so the landscape maintenance staff has access to them. They have a key that they can operate those quick couplers, so they can put a hose on the system if they need to, but it kind of limits the access to the recycled water to those that should have it. We have pressure regulating valves to keep the pressure steady, and then obviously the recycled water meter itself. After that, it's signage. It's important that we make sure the residents know that they have recycled water out there. So these are what the signs will look like. They're about a 4-inch by 8-inch sign. When we started, they were big, giant purple signs. For those of you that remember our Phase 1 project and the purple air vac cans, that doesn't go over so well. So we went to something that was a little more aesthetically pleasing. And so you can kind of see in the corner over there by the building, it doesn't really jump out, but there are signs there. There's a little blow up of it. So there'll be a number of these around the community. And we'll work with staff about where we place them that identify for everybody that we have recycled water out there. Once we've completed that site work, then it's time to connect the meter actually to the irrigation system. So in this picture, you can kind of see the meter, the assembly that has the quick couplers and pressure regulating valve. Downstream of that, we would take it right to the irrigation system. And once we do that, the system is basically online and ready to serve recycled water to that existing irrigation system. The funding for the project, the total project cost estimate just for the retrofits is about $700,000. That's based on, we did over 200 meter connections as part of the Phase 1 project. So based on the cost that we saw at that time as we made those connections, that's how we estimated this one. It's a bit challenging to estimate projects like this because we know what some of the basics are. That's how we'll solicit bids. But there's always going to be unknowns. We're going to run into stuff that we couldn't have anticipated that's going to drive costs a little bit. So we were very successful when we did the phase 1 project with cost, and we're hoping to achieve a similar amount of success as we implement these retrofits. Where the funding comes from is essentially two places. We're lucky that the Metropolitan Water District has an on-site retrofit rebate program. So they establish a value that they are willing to pay based on how much water, recycled water, will be served. So what they do is they look at, for an individual meter, how much potable water it was using over a 3-year average. And then based on that amount of water that's going to be offset and replaced with recycled water, they will pay rebates. So the district uses those to offset the costs of the recycled water retrofit implementation. So the balance of it is going to be paid by the El Toro Water District. I might point out that we're relatively unique in doing that. Most other agencies will require their customers to pay for those retrofits. Our board decided a long time ago that the successful implementation of the retrofits was part and parcel of the success of the overall project, so we're paying for it. But by that same token, then because the rebates are there to offset the cost, the agreement will say that the district is the beneficiary of the actual rebate. So we'll work with staff on how we get those applications submitted to that end. As far as the schedule, we're preparing to solicit bids now. We have the plans complete. They're being submitted to the healthcare agencies for approval. We'll get them bid. We're hoping to start work in January. And if everything works out well, have all of them online so we can start to make beneficial use of the system as we get into the hotter months in the summer. And I finished with 7 seconds to spare.
You were getting a little bit fast at the end, but you made it.
Because there's a timer right in front of me.
Thank you very much for that.
Absolutely. Thank you.
Madam Chair, is there time for any questions?
I don't think so. I think that we really have a time limit today. If we have any questions, we can send them in, or we could invite them back, because we have other questions. There are other questions that the residents have about what's in the water and what did we do to that kind of stuff. So we might have them back.
My question is very simple. What about what about gate 11 and gate 14?
Ernesto, would you like to come up?
I'm sorry, the
My
question
question
was,
was, what about gate 11 and gate 14?
I've never been asked that question before.
I asked so many times before.
I missed the last CAG meeting, so I haven't heard it.
Okay.
Gate 11 and gate 14. So gate 11, in fact, it's very, when you look at that map, you almost see a hole around gate 11 where we have recycled water all the way around. So it's very obvious that it's kind of prime for recycled water conversion. It is a project we're looking at. And I'm going to be doing a presentation soon for our board on a whole bunch of different recycled water opportunities. The things we have to look at are what it would cost. Do we have the water available? We only have, especially in the summer, we're going to get to a point very soon where every bit of wastewater coming into our plant is going to be recycled and going out to our existing customers. So that's something that as we put the phase 2 system online, we're going to have to look at. Do we have more water available to further expand our recycled water system? We're looking at it. Gate 11, and as I've been telling Director Tung for a long time, hey, we probably can't do that. I'm going to say that we're looking at it very closely. Gate 14 probably won't happen. And the reason for that is it would take another pump station. It would take a whole lot of additional pipe. It's pretty far from the existing system. So from a cost-benefit standpoint, it probably doesn't pencil out, but we're looking at it. So I don't have a timeline to say we can or can't do any of these, but we are I'm very aware of the desire to get recycled water into as much of Third as we possibly can. And so we're very sensitive to that. So we're looking at it.
Thank you.
Sorry I don't have a more definitive answer for that.
Well, Dennis, I want to clear one thing. Gates 11, according to our water, Raul, only have a 37 meters.
Right.
It's also, the arrangement is no different than other gate area.
No, in fact, I've been looking at it I know exactly how many meters, I know exactly how much water they're using now in the existing irrigation system.
Yeah.
I'm using that data to look at whether or not it's possible to do.
All right.
So, again, we're paying very close attention to it.
Thanks, thanks.
Absolutely.
Okay,
Thank you.
thank you very much for coming and for
Sure.
sharing with us. All right, so the next item on the agenda is Director Frankel telling us briefly about the Great California Shakeout.
I'll be very, very brief. In 2 days is the Great California Shakeout. It's something that's not just Laguna Woods Village, but it's all over the state. Basically, it's a drill that will prevent disaster from becoming catastrophic and will increase the probability of survival. And we have a disaster preparedness committee chaired by Chief Moy. And the purpose of the disaster committee is to set up preparation teams and communication. And we've set up communication teams and collection of information. Cul-de-sacs have at least one disaster captain, a building captain, and the sixplexes have one, and the multi-story buildings have several. We're short still several hundred cul-de-sac captains, and they're very important. They visit every manor, and they look for any kind of injury or damage, take that information to the clubhouses, and there are coordinators there, and that information then goes by radio to the control center here at the community center. So we're participating strongly in the Great California Shakeout, 10/18 on Thursday. Thank you.
Thank you, John. Okay, the next item on our agenda is the open forum. This is where our members may address the Board of Directors regarding items not on the agenda and that are within the jurisdiction of this board. So do we have anyone who's just dying to come up?
Yes, Chris Collins.
Okay.
Good morning. I'm Chris Collins, 3306Q. I'm here to speak a little more about the foundation of Laguna Woods Village. Donations to the foundation of Laguna Woods Village make its mottos, neighbors helping neighbors, a reality. The many thank you notes that are received from the recipients of your support underscore how it enriches the lives of needier village residents. So I'd like to share a few comments that we've received. First of all, without your generous gift of the Stater Brothers cards, I would have had no holiday dinner. I had $2.15 in checking and $1.65 in my wallet, and the freezer held only asparagus and some codfish. Thank you so much. I'm very grateful. Thank you for having all the programs to help residents. We were blessed by one of your generous programs. This is really a wonderful place to live. We would like to extend our sincere gratitude to the foundation for the help with an electric bill that was provided in our time of need. I am writing to express my utmost thankfulness for the gift you bestowed upon me to have my tooth fixed. I was not sure how I was going to do this by myself. You see, my mother had a very debilitating stroke 8 years ago, and her life, along with mine, stopped. We were just getting by, and when unforeseen problems arise, it really rocks your lives. Thank you so much for the Stater Brothers gift card. What a welcome surprise. My financial situation is such that my diet is usually deficient in protein and in fresh vegetables and fruits. But your generous gift will go a long way toward correcting that for the next 2 or 3 months. You are so kind, and I am so blessed. And lastly, thank you for the hearing aid I will be receiving. Thank you for the gift of hearing. For more information, please go to our website, which is the foundation of lagunawoodsvillage.org, or you can contact the foundation at 949-268-2246, or the foundation at comline.com. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Chris. Is there anyone else?
No, that concludes our speakers.
My goodness. Well, we could spend a moment saying we have a celebrity in the room, and that is we want to congratulate Stuart. He's not looking at me. Am I going to mispronounce his last name? Could you do that, Lynn? Stuart Hack. Okay. I was going to say Heck, and I didn't want to say it wrong. Stuart Hack. Yeah, okay. And Stuart is the new president of the Garden Villa Association. And as you know, the Garden Villas are a third of third. So we work very closely with them to make sure that we deliver good service, or better than good service, for a good part of our community. So welcome, we're very excited to have you. I've known Stuart and worked with him for years, and he is a wonderful addition to the team and part of the community. And we told him that the next step in his life will be to be on third board. And he almost ran away. But thank you and welcome, Stuart. And please come to our meetings as often as you'd like. Okay, so we don't, if we have no more residents, we don't have to get back to anyone. So the next thing will be an update from our VMS director, Donna Dwalaby. And I don't know if I said it during my remarks, but we have arranged with VMS that this year the boards are going to work with VMS to do a review of VMS and what things that we think are going really well and things that might need some improvement. So this is very exciting, and that's scheduled for November 28th. But go ahead, Donna, it's up to you. Welcome.
Okay, well, see, it says here, good morning, I am Marcy Scheinwald. Whoops. Actually, I'm Donna Dwalby. Marcy Scheinwald, our esteemed chairman of our board, was scheduled to speak today, and she had a dental emergency. So she called me yesterday, gave me her notes, and here I am. So I am Donna Dwalaby, a member of the VMS board. When people learn that I'm a member of the VMS board, I'm still asked questions about it. What is it really? What does it do? How does it relate to the other boards? And why is it needed? In very basic terms, VMS is the people part of the village. It's administrators and employees. My words are that VMS provides all the services that the residents receive. So we're a provider of services, and our board oversees the employees and the administration of those services. Given the events of the past few weeks, with Brad Hudson leaving for a new position, last week was his last week in the village, I thought I would begin by highlighting what we are doing to fill his position and address the gap. However, our esteemed president of Third Board, Rosemarie DiLorenzo, mentioned that in her opening remarks, but I'll go over it again just in case someone didn't hear it. Okay. First, we established a search committee, which will be comprised of representatives from the two housing boards, GRF and VMS. Second, because the CEO is a critical position, we also retained the services of a search team to assist us in identifying the best possible candidates, and the 6 members of the search committee met with this firm to outline what we are looking for in a new CEO, develop a statement describing the position, and to identify qualifications and the timetable for recruitment. Third, because the stable functioning of the village is key, we also appointed an interim CEO, Siobhan Foster, our present chief operating officer, to oversee village operations in the interim. The search for a new CEO also gives us an opportunity to pause and address what Brad Hudson accomplished and where we want to go, to set our priorities for the months ahead. In brief, with his guidance, Laguna Woods Village joined the 21st century technologically with expanded internet capabilities, both for residents and for staff. He transformed customer services into a single telephone number call, a center to receive, track, and monitor resident concerns and needs. He made the village more transparent with weekly e-blasts, special notifications in times of crisis, and has helped all the entities in the village communicate more effectively. with the help of wonderful Eileen Cullen. He recognized the diversity of the village in different kinds of programs, and in particular, he hired and assembled a superb professional team of managers who on a daily basis meet resident needs while also monitoring and streamlining services. We are particularly grateful to this management team who will guide us through the weeks and months ahead, and that's really, we are so grateful to have them. As indicated before, the recruitment of a new CEO also causes us to pause and establish clear priorities. In that regard, representatives of the two housing boards and GRF will meet with the VMS board on November 28th to evaluate VMS goals and objectives as means of focusing on future priorities. We just need to reemphasize everything you said, Rosemary.
Okay.
As you know, the VMS board meets biweekly with senior staff to review services and activities on a rotating basis. Tomorrow, we will resume those meetings, and I think we're going to discuss insurance and benefits tomorrow. Employee retention, recruitment, and training continue to remain key priorities to ensure adequate staffing. During September, there were 23 new hires, spanning all departments, 10 part-time, and 7 employees moved up the ladder. I also want to note that 3 employees just celebrated their 45-year anniversaries with the village. Clemente Sanchez, a tree trimming foreman and arborist, Alfonso Villa, a maintenance painter, and Jose Duenas, a lead in landscaping. There was a wonderful luncheon given for people. It was at Clubhouse 7. It was a beautiful catered luncheon a couple weeks ago for all employees that have been here 10 years or longer. It was really nice, and they were all acknowledged and awarded. It was really an exciting and wonderful thing to see. There are still challenges to meet. At our next meeting, the VMS board will be checking on progress of the objectives in our strategic plan. For example, increasing the number of people using Dwelling Live is important to free up staff and continuing VMS objective, as well as getting information to residents who are not internet connected. We will continue to keep you informed and work with you to solve these challenges. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Donna.
You're welcome.
Okay, so look at how we're really moving along here, and that's excellent. So I'm putting this time limit on you. So now we have our CEO report and our COO report by Siobhan Foster.
Honorable President, members of the board, I want to start by providing an update on the windstorm that we experienced yesterday. The winds are forecasted to diminish this afternoon with isolated gusts possible. All pools are open this morning. They were closed yesterday, some of them for debris in the pools, but they're all open. Yesterday, the tree division received 80 calls for service from resident services and security dispatch. Approximately 20 trees were removed and 10 need remedial action. I just want to remind our residents, if they need to report a hazardous condition, like a fallen tree or tree branches, residents should call resident services at 949-597-4600, Monday through Friday from 8 to 5 p.m. And outside of normal business hours, they should call village security, and that number is 949-580-1400. And as a reminder, if you see power lines down on the ground, stay away and call 911 immediately.
I have a question. So if you're walking around and you don't see a hazardous condition, but they're like, it's not like a branch, but parts of a branch all over the sidewalk and you can't walk past it. So it's almost not a call to resident services, but it's sort of a mess. Will someone, after this is over, be going around, because it's like the trees, the streets and sidewalks are loaded with leaves, loaded with twigs. I'm sure it's like that everywhere, not only at Gate 14. So what is the plan for that?
Yes, 2 crews stayed late last night, actually, to clear sidewalks to make sure there were safe paths of travel And then the next 2 or 3 days will be spent in post-storm cleanup, if you will, clearing brush and debris.
So after 3 days, if you're walking around and you still see stuff, then it would deserve,
I would
be-
encourage a call to resident
Okay.
services, yes.
Okay, so let's give resident services and staff an opportunity, except if you see something that's dangerous, to do cleanup, and then after that, we will start calling. Okay, thanks.
Thank you.
Thank you on that.
In terms of a legislative update, on September 27th, the governor signed into law Senate Bill 261. This reduces our notice requirement for proposed rule changes from 30 to 28 days and allows residents to receive their annual documents via email with an email opt-in. So that was a good outcome from our legislative lobbying efforts for the past session.
So a question there. Can't get away with not having, so Brad had said that this becomes effective the first of the year.
That is correct.
So then, for the first of the year, that's great for the boards, because there's usually always 28 days between board meetings, so we can get things passed. But for the other part, the opt-in or opt-out, will, the package is sent out, the package with the budget and all that, is sent out after the first of the year. So are you going to be working with the communications staff to possibly move some of that to electronic?
My understanding is that the annual mailing will go out in late November, so it
Oh, okay.
precedes the
All right,
January
so-
1st date.
so
So
then
next
after the-
cycle
right,
will be
so-
where we need to work to make that happen.
So after the first of the year, okay. All right, thank you.
Okay. And then the new passive park is now open. The aging shuffleboard courts, next to Clubhouse 2 were removed and replaced with a new passive park which features a lawn and soon-to-be installed tables. This new park has probably one of the best views of from the village, so we encourage everyone to go by the new passive park next to Clubhouse 2 and enjoy the serenity that that spot offers.
Where is shuffleboard now? Is there a shuffleboard?
No, they were removed because no one was using those.
Not because it was too old, just because it's out
But no one
of style?
Yeah, no one was using them and they were dilapidated.
Oh, okay. Okay, that'll be the next thing. We'll get a group one. I can't play shuffleboard.
Brace yourselves.
Okay.
Speaking of sports, the pickleball and paddle tennis court project has kicked off. Work is underway in the Gate 12 area. Initial work includes the removal of the perimeter fence, which you all have probably seen, the electrical work, and coring. The court work is expected to be completed in late December, so that'll be an exciting project to be completed. RV Lot A was opened approximately 3 weeks early. This involved concrete repair, asphalt repairs, and striping of the RV lot. It reopened on Sunday, October 6th, and some punch work list will be done in the upper part of the lot in the coming days. But we were very excited to get this project completed on an accelerated schedule and get the RVs back off the street.
So Steve has a question.
Yeah, for people that have not yet moved their RVs into there, what is happening with that?
Those that did not notify us that they were going to be on vacation are subject to citation. There are a few that are on vacation, and since we accelerated our project, they are kind of isolated incidents, so we probably shouldn't do anything more than follow up with them as soon as they return from their vacations to get them off the street.
But overall,
Yes.
the majority of them moved back?
Yes, that is correct.
Because this was such a blight in many of the neighborhoods. Now, needless to say, it won't happen again for many years, but we brought to the attention of, at that time, Brad, but we have to bring this to the attention of our management team, that anything that's going to impact the residents the way that did should be reviewed with the board, so maybe ahead of time. So first of all, we could notify the people, and second of all, possibly look at an alternative way to handle the situation, because we didn't even know really that it was happening, except from all of our residents, and it was pretty bad. So I think that with anything, we learned that needed a better means of communication. So it won't be that, it'll be something else that'll come up that we have to communicate about. So thank you.
You're correct, we've learned that lesson. In terms of the record management project that is underway, just want to give you a brief update on that. The milestones that have been completed on the project include the project kickoff with the CEO and department heads, and then subsequently, departments compiled their record inventories. This information was then shared with the records management consultant, who is now reviewing those inventories and verifying legal requirements for retention. And the goal is to have a final retention schedule available for review in December. And at that point, we will work with the boards to review that retention schedule. And my final announcement is that the second annual Harvest Hoedown will be held this Saturday, October 20th, from 4 to 8 p.m. at the Equestrian Center. The Hoedown features pony rides, the country rock band, Pickleback Shine, old-fashioned games, and a mechanical bull. I heard that was very popular last year. Parking is available in the employee maintenance lot at 23081 via Campo Verde, and shuttles will be running throughout the event. So that concludes my presentation this afternoon.
What are the hours of this exciting?
4 to 8 p.m.
Okay, all right.
Can you repeat the date, please?
Saturday, October 20th,
Thank you.
4 to 8 p.m. at the Equestrian Center.
And thank you very much, Siobhan. So the next item on our agenda is the consent calendar. And all matters on the consent calendar we need a motion.
I so move.
All right, so James made the motion and it was seconded by Steve. Do we have any discussion of the calendar? Okay, so let's vote electronically. All of those, it's off? Okay, let's not vote electronically. Let's just vote. All right, all those in favor? All right, the consent calendar is passed. Okay, unfinished business. So these items have all passed their 30-day notification, so I'm going to turn this over to our new secretary, Roy.
Okay, as Madam President said, there are 3 resolutions that have been on 30-day review, and the 30 days are up. The first one authorizes the Key File Program. Key File Program is a voluntary program that allows resident and non-resident members to place manor keys on file with the Resident Services Department, which enables mutual access for emergency repairs, access for welfare checks, Orange County emergency services, and entry for residents who have misplaced their keys. So now therefore be it resolved October 16th, which is today, 2018, that the Board of Directors approves this policy authorizing the Key File Program that shall follow the provisions of the Key File Policy as attached to the official minutes of this meeting. And you can read those out on the website when they get there. Resolve further that the officers and agents of this corporation are hereby authorized on behalf of the corporation to carry out the purpose of this resolution. I so move.
Okay, so we have to vote on this now?
Discussion.
Is there any discussion? We have really discussed this a lot. Okay, all those in favor? All right, so it passes. Next item.
Next item, I think everybody's pretty familiar with. This is a resolution, again, which has been out there for 30 days for review.
And we had an emergency procedure on this.
It replaces, this is a permanent policy, it replaces the emergency policy that we had put together earlier in the year. And basically what it does is it allows the mutual to inspect the interior of unoccupied manors, and the policy specifies how that gets done and the authority under which we work to get that done. And it protects the residents, but it also protects the mutual, and I think that's the important win-win situation. If a unit is unoccupied for length of time, bad things can happen inside that unit, including water intrusion and mold and all kinds of things when buildings have been unoccupied. So we have the right to go in there and inspect. So resolved that necessary emergency maintenance and repairs that are the responsibility of the mutual will be carried out at the mutual's expense. Resolve further that the resolution 3/1859 adopted May 4th, 2018, that is the emergency resolution, is hereby superseded in its entirety and no longer in effect. And resolve further that the officers and agents of this corporation are hereby authorized on behalf of the corporation to carry out the purpose of this resolution. I so move.
Second. Question?
Discussion.
Yep.
Yes, what's the effective date of this?
Would be today.
Well, and this one's a little odd because we had an emergency procedure in place so that this has been effective. So it's just a continuation of the emergency procedure also.
Right. There are no changes to what we've been operating under. It's just that it's now permanent as opposed to emergency.
So
And we met the deadline.
we have the department head in the room hiding in the back. Is there anything you want to add to this? No. Okay, thank you for doing such a great job on this, Kurt. Thank you. Okay, so all those in favor?
I have a question.
Oh, yeah, yes.
I have a question. Do we have a list of unoccupied manors?
Yes, we do.
And how do people get on this list?
Well, they don't get, people
Means
don't.
how do these manors,
That's basically done through our architectural. Kurt, do you want to come up and see? You just wanted Kurt to come up and speak. But I think it's a combination. Neighbors, you answer the whole thing, but people call in and say they noticed it or there's a complaint, or go ahead and answer it, Kurt.
The majority of the units on there are from our database. When occupied people move out, occupants move out, or residents move out, and a new occupant doesn't move in, then it's identified in our database as being vacant. Plus, we get calls from people who say, my neighbor's been gone for 6 months, things like that.
Or somebody, unfortunately, there's a leak, and then we find out that the unit is unoccupied. But this was an important thing for you to address because insurance requires that also. Is that correct?
Correct. Our insurance does not cover the mutual in case of a damage for anything that has not been inspected. They call that negligence.
So we had to make sure we were not negligent.
Correct. And currently, we have over 100 vacant manors in 30.
do the manors where the assessment is not paid, do we find out that it's unoccupied, and do those manors also go on that list?
Yes, that's one of the mechanisms.
Okay,
Yeah.
thank you.
Okay?
Thank you.
All right, so we had our question. Thank you very much, Kurt. So we're going to vote now, and Cheryl is pointing that she wants us to use the screen.
Well,
There's nothing on the screen.
Screens are blank.
All right, let's just, so in any case, let's just all those in favor? Okay. Next item on the list. Roy.
Next item on the list is a resolution related to common area use policy. This one is a very long one, and I'm not going to read the whole thing. It has, over the 30-day period, been modified somewhat. The resolution itself it severely restricts the board's granting of common area for both construction, building kinds of expansions, as well as landscape. It has an impact on both areas, because common area is both building related and also landscape related. What has changed since we last looked at this, you can read on page 10 of 16, item 12C, and it relates to grandfathering. And basically, grandfathering in this resolution means that such non-permitted or non-conforming alterations will not be actively pursued by the mutual unless the mutual determines that an alteration poses a potential danger to persons or property, or a court of competent jurisdiction determines that the alteration was not properly permitted. So we're not going to go around and inspect every alteration that expanded into the common property, but if we find out that it's causing problems, we will then take appropriate action. So this one is effective, again, today. It's been on 30-day notice. And if I can find the last part, that be it further resolved that the mutual board resolution 317-1977 is hereby superseded and canceled. And be it further resolved that the staff is charged with the responsibility of receiving, evaluating, approving, or making recommendations for approval of manor alteration applications, and overseeing construction of additions, modifications, improvements, and such other alterations to the manor within the mutual are hereby authorized to take all appropriate actions consistent with this resolution and to carry out the purpose and intent of this resolution and assure compliance with its terms. I so move.
Second?
Second.
Okay. Any more discussion? All right, I think one of the primary, and we didn't really make changes to this after we had already voted on it. The primary thing is there was a little bit of confusion as to so-called grandfathering. And if somebody had something that was built out on common area and it was approved, we're not going to, as long as you said, unless it's suddenly dangerous or it isn't maintained, we weren't going to go and ask them to remove it. But one of the challenges we were having is somebody would have, had expanded their patio in the past, they got approval for that, and now they wanted to make it a room and the basic, and that's where we had to modify this report so that people understood that just because you got approval for that common area a while ago doesn't mean that you can change it. So you have to keep the original way that it was being used. I mean, you might put a new cover on it or something like that, but you can't change it into something else. Repurpose it. Was that the word we used?
That's the correct
Thank
word,
you.
yes.
All right, so Kurt's back there again, still nodding. So all those in, now you want us to use the screen, okay, because the screen's ready. All those in favor?
Some screens are still blank.
Well,
They do go to sleep. If you tap them, they should wake up.
I know people like
okay, we're still missing two. But your name's up, Bunny, you're good. Who's missing?
Director Frankel,
And,
do you want to just give me your verbal vote?
and who else? And,
And-
all right, so we're good. All right, so the motion passes. Thank you. Okay, so now we have completed the unfinished business. So we're off to new business. So we're trying to make you very tired today, Roy. All right, so A.
Yeah, we have four more resolutions. Three of them require that they be put on a 30-day until we get to January, and then they go on a 28-day, but these are 30-day. The first one relates to the Yellow Stake Program. This was a recommendation from the Landscape Committee. And it's a short resolution, so I'm going to read this. Whereas the Board of Directors of 3rd Laguna Hills Mutual held a meeting on October 16th, 2018, today, at which a quorum of the board was present. Whereas the board has revisited the Yellow Stake Program, remember we put it on hold for a while, given information provided to the board regarding overwatering of landscaping in such yellow stake areas, as well as the apparent widespread abuse of the program by mutual members and residents, And whereas upon reviewing the mutual's legal counsel, the board has also determined that such yellow stake program raises the potential issue of an implicit grant of exclusive use of general common area to individual owners that may require approval of the membership and otherwise create an administrative burden for the board and the mutual. And whereas on September 6, 2018, the Landscape Committee recommended to eliminate the yellow stake program, now therefore be it resolved, October 16th, 2018, that's today, the Board of Directors eliminated the yellow stake program. And resolved further that the officers and agents of this corporation are hereby authorized on behalf of the corporation to carry out this resolution. I so move.
Second.
And
We
we don't vote on this one.
We don't vote on it for 30 days, he just reads it, so we'll
Yeah.
vote on it in 30 days. Okay, so this is just to read it and have people aware of it, so it gives people the opportunity to send in their comments or call us, or for the board members to relook at it. So if anybody has any questions or concern on this, they would call James,
Don't call me, call the landscape.
or call the
Bruce.
landscape
Operations.
department, or call Bruce. But it is your committee.
Called me too, yeah.
Okay, good, all right.
Yeah.
The next item, I could say call Donna, but I don't think she, okay, so the next item on the list, go ahead, Roy.
The next item is a resolution for 30-day review related to tree trimming for rooftop solar panels. This one is a policy that deals with the issue of what happens when somebody puts solar panels on their roof, and a tree may grow and beyond where we thought it was going to grow, and it's causing problems for those solar panels. So we've modified our tree trimming policy in order to accommodate such a situation. The Landscape Committee approved specific tree management policies for the maintenance of trees affecting rooftop solar generating systems, including trimming and/or removal of trees performed to the benefit of systems owned by the mutual would be performed as needed at the expense of the mutual. Trimming and/or removal of trees to the benefit of a privately owned rooftop solar system would be considered a chargeable service paid for by the requesting member unless routine scheduled trimming would achieve the desired results without any special consideration, and determination of appropriate trimming and/or removal to be made by staff on a case-by-case basis and would not be agendized for committee approval. Now therefore be it resolved October 16th, 2018, that the Board of the Mutual hereby introduces the tree trimming for rooftop solar panels policy for the management of trees within the mutual's common areas. And again, this goes on 30-day review.
Okay, thank you very much, Roy. Again, if you have any concerns on this, please contact our landscape department or James Tung. Okay, number C, entertain a motion to approve supplemental appropriation. Now, this one does not go on 30 days.
This one does not go on
Okay.
30 days. We can vote on this today.
Okay,
Whereas staff projected 7 months of work would be necessary to complete the scheduled tree trimming in Third Mutual with a budget of $826,475. Whereas the accelerated growth of the trees following the wet winter of 2017 and the emphasis on performing increased thinning of the trees has slowed the trimming cycle. And whereas the tree crew fully utilized the 2018 funding at the end of August with additional trees yet to be trimmed and insufficient funding to complete annual palm trimming or unscheduled work. Now therefore be it resolved on October 16th, 2018, today, the Board of Directors of this corporation hereby approves a supplemental appropriation in the amount of $150,000 to be funded from the replacement reserve to complete scheduled trimming through September 2018 and unscheduled tree trimming and palm trimming through December 2018 in Third Mutual resolve further that the officers and agents of this corporation are hereby authorized on behalf of the corporation to carry out the purpose of this resolution. I so move.
I second.
Thank you. Okay. So,
Discussion?
yes, discussion?
This was reviewed by the Finance Committee, and we went in depth with it, and we approved this as a recommendation also.
Okay, the only thing that came out of this is that in moving that, well, two important things. Number one, we have to look at the entire tree trimming program because of how it's, not only how it's budgeted, but what is in the budget and what is the work that's needed, and that's on Bruce's agenda. And the other thing is that in the future, going forward, we have to make sure that we approve changes in advance, but we've also discussed that with Betty. So we have a motion, we discussed it, we learned things from this experience. So all those in favor?
Well, we can use the machine.
Okay. So we want to use the machine? Okay, let's use the machine. I'm just trying to make sure we speed along. All right, we use the machine.
You're there, Bunny. Yeah, we got 10.
All right, we're good. Thank you. Okay, the next item on the list number is D.
D.
And the only thing is that I think that the heading should be entertain a motion to approve a resolution for third board and GRF committee assignments. Just to, because that's what technically it is. I mean, you could look at it another way, because you could say it's assignments for third board members, but the committees are both third and GRF. So we've gone over this already, but if anybody has any changes after we make a motion, let's bring them up. So,
Before we get to that, I would like to point out that we did a preliminary,
right, yes, we did.
and we forgot to copy you on page 3 of 3 in that preliminary handout. And this particular document here has all of the committee assignments,
Good.
both for third and for GRF. So
Okay,
this is the master.
So John will carry it around all the time, and when we can't find it, we'll just run over and ask John.
Right.
So this is very important for you. So in any case, do we have a motion?
I so move.
Second?
Second.
Well, let's have Bunny do it this time. All right. So is there any discussion? Okay. I guess, okay, so all those in favor?
Push the button.
Vote.
Well, all right. So now, but the other thing is that, remember, if we need a change on this, all you have to do is come forward and say, I find that I don't want to be on that committee, or whatever. Or if you want to add advisors, the committee chair has the option to add advisors. And I certainly don't need to approve the advisors. You are the chair of the committee, and it is up to you to have advisors. If you need any help getting advisors, let the rest of the board know. We could try to help you. Or you could always bring it up at this board meeting going out to the public. Or we could talk to Eileen and make sure we put it in a blast. So I don't know if there are any committees right now who need advisors, but
I think the MNC committee needs to.
well, so when it's, you might ask later. So yes, John, I see your hand up.
I'd like to entertain a discussion that we change the third mutual policy and compliance task force to a committee of the whole. Is that an appropriate time to do this now, or does it have to go on the agenda, or?
The thing is I think that you could bring that up as a suggestion, and we could look into it, what is required to do that. But the basic thing is as we've discussed at our planning meeting, that meeting is more or less on hiatus. Because we still haven't gotten all the kinks out of the caretaker policy, which we're meeting on, or even on the leasing policy. So we don't plan any meetings coming up soon, but as Roy is offered to be the chair of that, we could put that on our agenda to look
Okay.
into it.
My
Does that
concern-
work?
Yes, it does. My concern is it's so important, and only 5 members can attend. And so the rest of us are precluded from attending. This is probably the most important committee we have.
Okay, so we will definitely make sure that we look into it. Okay, so thank you very much. All right, so we have a motion. Did we all vote yet? No. Okay, all those in favor? Did we vote? No. Oh, we did. We voted. All right, excuse me. I probably need a sugar energy. Okay, so now we're already up to committee reports. So you're really doing a fabulous job of moving this along. So the first report is the Finance Committee. Go ahead.
Madam President, I am delighted to be able to be here today and give you some good news. But first, I want to thank Steve Parsons for his continuing good counsel, and I trust he will continue that good counsel many years into the future.
Don't worry, if he doesn't help you, I
Okay.
will.
On slide 1, you can see total revenue for third through August 31st was $22,608,000. Expenses of $20,314,000, which gave us a revenue expense of $2,294,000 ahead of the game. Slide 2, looking at the same results with a distinction between operating and reserve funds. The chart shows how much of our revenue went into operations, with $12,586,000 coming from assessments and $945,000 coming from non-assessment revenue. Now, this is compared to operating expenditures of $13,649,000. After backing out depreciation, which is not funded through operations, thankfully, we can see a bottom line deficit of $21,000 as of the reporting period. $21,000 against the expenses is not bad, so don't panic. Slide 3. Chart shows how much of our revenue went into reserve funds and the amount expended to date. Slide 4. Through August, third was better than budget by $2,241,000, generally due to the timing of reserve funds. Well, building structures, staff presented consultant reports to MNC. Dry rot RFP was advertised and bids submitted for late September are under review now. On the disaster fund, insurance reimbursements have been received for fire and water intrusion events and less use of contingency funds, which is good news. The disaster fund includes funding for emergency expenditures not covered by insurance, including insurance policy deductibles. Exterior lighting timing. The program is for acquisition of streetlights from Edison, which was approved by the California Public Utility Commission. Prior to transfer, SCE will complete an audit of fixtures. We anticipate this in November. Roof replacements. PVC cool roof replacements are in progress and will be completed by the end of the year. Next slide. On this pie chart, we see the operating expenses to date of $13.6 million by category, showing that our largest categories of expense are for compensation and utilities. Understandable. And under utilities, water really takes the lead. Slide 6. The reserve balances as of August 31 were $30.5 million. To date, contributions to reserves, including assessments and interest earnings, totaled over $9.1 million, and expenditures to date have totaled just under $6.6 million. Now, we have reviewed the delinquencies in closed session, and it represents less than 1% of our annual assessment budget. Coming from the experience of other homeowners association, that's extraordinarily low. We're able to maintain such a low profile of delinquencies by following prescribed collection processes. The board has been working closely with our collection firm and legal counsel to pursue further collection activity for unpaid accounts. We also reviewed delinquencies for fines, fees, and chargeable services. The board is pursuing further collection activities such as cable TV disconnection and small claims. In short, we're very vigorous about collecting delinquencies. Thank you, Madam Chairman.
Thank you very much, Jack. Great job. The next committee report is Maintenance and Constructions, Director Bada. I'm sorry. I'm wrong. Forgive me. Report of the Architectural Control and Standards Committee, Director Parsons, then it'll be Director Bada.
Oh, that's okay, you can jump me. Okay, Architecture Control and Standards Committee. We're going to be meeting on October 22nd. Just going to highlight a few of the standards we're updating. In case you don't know, we have had roughly 50 standards over the past couple years we've been reviewing. We're getting close to the end of that, but we're not there yet. So a few of the ones we're going to be going over are storage cabinets, it's standard 30. Windows and window attachments, which is standard 34. And fencing, which includes vinyl fencing, which is standard 44. So we're going to have a discussion on that and update that and hopefully bring it back to the next meeting complete.
Thank you very much, Steve. Now, Director Bada.
Thank you. Thank you, Madam President. We had our meeting on October 1st, and in that we discussed quite a few things, namely waistline remediation in 2018 to program will stop in mid-November prior to the holidays. So far, 93 buildings have been lined. 2018 electrical systems, a portion of this fund will be used to repair the electrical panels in 12 Garden Villa buildings. Laundry equipment improvement, it is a contract that is being awarded, and all the dryers will be replaced and with pedestals for the washer and the dryer. Pest control for termites, 44 buildings have been fumigated so far. Trash chute remediation, the project has resumed now that we have a new trash chute door design and which is approved for fabrication. In 2018, roofing replacement, a total of 38 buildings have been re-roofed this year. Seal coat program, 2018 program work has been completed. Staff will review the street repairs performed by ETWD in different cul-de-sacs, namely 326, 27, 28, as well as some damage by the contractor trucks on Bahia Blanca West. Building address signs. A pilot program for both the building addresses and the cul-de-sac signs were completed in the 212 cul-de-sac as well as in the Gate 14 area. Staff is waiting for additional direction from the committee. We are also considering a fire safety device called Fire Alert, and a pilot program for that is being reviewed and probably get into a phase to start. Motion sensor lights in carports and Garden Villa garages. There was an oral discussion for that and will be reviewed in the next committee meeting. Our next meeting is November 5th, 2018.
I have a question, and you might not have the answer, but, and maybe Siobhan will have the answer. Now that the chargeable services have been approved, if I ran out to the front desk, that front area now, she's laughing. And I said, can I have a list of the chargeable services program, would they have it?
I believe so, but I don't want to commit 100%. I will check and let you know before the
Okay,
end of the meeting.
so because, all right, so I'm sure you'll take care of it. So, see, Kush, I didn't necessarily want to ask you, but the basic thing is we want to be sure that people are aware of the fact that we have approved the chargeable services and that they can get a list of it. I should probably go out and get a list of it myself. And maybe we could actually have it available even at the next M&C meeting or the next board meeting, because we have to let people know and see if Eileen will do anything with it, because we want to see, being that our structure is so very different from United, but we want to see if people are taking advantage of the program. So we should promote it a little, as much as we can. Yeah, more vigorously. You might hand it out Stuart, you might get a copy of it and have it available and put it on at your next Garden Villa meeting, because this is a very positive thing. And then you can get back to us and say, well, this is working, or this is, because how could we say of how it's working if people aren't taking advantage of it? Yes, Roy?
Madam President, I volunteered to test the system. I do need to have one of my toilets repaired. So I will go to resident services and see if I can get this through and report back to the board.
But you're not expecting us to pay for it, are you? No.
Hey, what's wrong with your toilet?
Oh,
And how old is your toilet?
please.
Replace the low-flow toilet.
It is a
Low
low-flow
He
toilet.
actually bought his unit after we had that law in
There's
effect.
nothing really wrong in terms of water saving. The problem is that the little chain just doesn't open up far enough to flush it properly. And I won't go into any more detail.
Okay, thank you. All right, yes, Steve.
Don't worry, James.
Yeah, Siobhan, tonight is the Gate 11 meeting. Could that also be brought up there, just to talk, maybe some things out on the table for them? Sometimes those people don't get things early.
We can certainly bring it up verbally, and if the handout is ready, we will bring copies.
Okay.
If it's ready?
Staff was working on it with communications. I just don't know the status sitting here at the moment.
Okay, well, at least you can give them a note and say, if you want the list, call some, whatever, whatever. Will you be attending that meeting? Yes,
Senior
good.
Chief Moy.
All right, thank you. All right, so thank you very much. What?
I was just wondering, in addition, is this going up on the website so people can, okay,
Yes, it will be on the website as well.
but we don't have a time frame.
Soon.
Well, that's why I thought I would bring it up, because
Yeah.
we approved it, and it was a month ago, and we don't know.
I committed to finding out, and I will do that. I promise. I will get back to you.
No,
this
I'm
week.
not talking about finding out. The thing is that there were a whole bunch of steps that should be followed, and I don't know if we missed one or two, but, well, I know you'll take care of it and get back to us. Okay, so thank you very much, Director Bada, and the next meeting is on the 5th in the boardroom. If anybody has anything that they really think is important for M&C, please let our director know. All right, report of the parking and golf cart task force. Oh, I know it. We have to make sure that we're prepared to talk about where we're going to go on the signage, because we still have money, so that was all right, okay, not now.
We are working on it.
All right, good. All right, so the report of the parking and golf cart task force,
There was no meeting subsequent to the last meeting.
okay. We just have to remind staff that we did budget for the conversion of more of the golf cart spaces. And we would just want to make sure that we don't lose sight of that, because we did budget it, and we said we wanted, I think we have enough money for 20, and we said we wanted to select the 20, so we not get one done one week and not another week. So we want to make sure that we don't, because if we're budgeted for something like that, and it's not a tremendous difficult thing, it's something that we should do early in the year as opposed to late in the year. All right, so the next item is the report of the Landscape Committee.
Thank you very much.
President Rosemary. Well, because this month, because of an annual meeting, so we didn't have the landscape committee meeting. However, I have a little bit of updates quickly. The Bright View landscape that we contracted out to clean our the fire slopes. So they have completed such a task in the months of September along the Bahia Blanca West external slopes. Now they're working on the interior slope. According to Orange County Fire Authority, they worry the most is this Bahia Blanca West external, and they already done that. And so far, they invoiced us $91,000, and we still have more money. And Bruce told me that with more time, money, they will work on the southern part along the El Toro, the edge, that we have a little, also the southern part of it. Now, I asked, I said, how come you didn't work on Gate 11? But because of Orange County Authority, Fire Authority didn't think that is dangerous. So as far as the most dangerous part, we already done. So sleep comfortably in the well. Don't worry, we're not gonna have fire. But also, I asked Bruce, nowadays we have a huge east Santa Ana wind. I said, will that cause any fire? And his answer is no, because those are many residential areas do not have right, large systematically large forest area, so we don't need to worry about that. So that's the update on the landscape. And next meeting will be, committee meeting will be November 1st, 9 o'clock in this boardroom. Thank you.
Questions?
Yes.
There's a lot of barren slopes now on those slopes on Bahia Blanca West. We need to let the residents know. Do you know what's going to happen to those slopes?
Well, Bruce will find appropriate plants, replant some of them. Yeah, I know residents feel, well, suddenly now we got a barren slopes. No, we're not going to leave that for a long time. We'll plant something appropriately and beautifully. Thank you.
Siobhan, this will be a question for you. We had a resident come to meet with us regarding her concern at Gate 14 with the condition of the golf course on the other side of the gate. And supposedly Brad was following up, or you were with the fire department and whatever. Do you know what happened with that? Because this doesn't look any better.
Yes, the resident met with Orange County Fire Authority, and it is Country Club property, and they were given a notice to abate.
Well, they haven't, so.
Well, I'll follow up with OCFA and find out the status. They were
Right,
given 30
yeah.
days to abate.
Well, and I believe it has been 30 days. So for something like that, do we, who would be following up on that other than the fact that I should walk around with my notebook?
Oh, the Fire Authority, they've stayed on top of all of our issues, and
All
I
right.
would assume they're staying on top of that, but I will follow up as I need.
All right, thank you very much. Yes, Steve.
Yes, for Siobhan also. Some residents have talked to me about the condition of the evergreens along Moulton that's inside the garden center area is dying. A lot of them, the facing on Moulton is dying. And they're wondering, that being the garden area, why things are dying.
Please let me check into that, and I'll get back to you, Director Parsons.
Okay.
Don't think that you're going to leave here without a long list. Okay, next item on the list is a report on the traffic hearings. Director Frankel?
I didn't attend those. Director Jules did. I've managed to obtain a report. There were 31 total violations, 10 decal, 8 of which were guilty, 5 registrations, 3 of which were found guilty, 12 parking, 11 of which were found guilty, 2 speeding, both guilty, and 2 driver's license, both found guilty.
Thank you. Next item on the list is the report of the Communications Committee. Director Bruninghouse.
Yes, the Communications Committee did not meet last month, and the next meeting is November 14th at 1:30, but we have a corporate members meeting on that same day, so I'm going to cancel that meeting as well. Thank you.
Well, as communications is so important, I'm sure you'll be doing something else exciting.
We constantly communicate
Okay, thank you.
with the help of Eileen and her staff.
All right, report of the Village Energy Task Force. Director Bada? Nothing to report,
Nothing to report.
except that the next meeting
Yes.
is November 7th at 1:30 PM in the Willow Room.
Got it.
Okay, report of the Water Subcommittee, Director Tung.
Thank you again. Well, could I have starting with the second slides? Well, second slides. All right, I don't know whether you can see it or not, but if you look at the bottom 3 lines, this month's water bill, I'm sorry to report that this month, we have a huge Tier 3, Tier 4 water bill. As you can see, the third line from the bottom, we have $16,000 dollars just for the Tier 3 water bill. This is due to we have a lot of irrigation pipe leak. Our director, Bruce, is on top of it. We'll try to improve and watch closely to watch out those leaks and fix in a shorter time sooner. The next slides, please. You can see this is the top of the Tier 3, Tier 4 water meters. You can see normally there's a lot of them that are residential, but this month, the month of August, you can see majority of them are large amount are irrigational water meter. So this is why we have such, in fact, for irrigation, Tier 3 bill was 13,000, and that is really very much upsetting. But next slide, please. And I taught Raul provided. It's about 15 meters with leaking valve pipe leaks, and 9 of them he already fixed repaired the leak, but 6 of them are still under observation, and he doesn't see anything wrong, but did have a high water bill, therefore they're watching for it. We're hoping that this situation will be improved in the future, because we cannot tolerate this has such a high water bill. Normally, so from the first slides, you can see our Tier 3, Tier 4 water bill is around 3,000 or less on Tier 3 or Tier 4 on both residential and irrigation side. However, this month, over $10,000, that's just not acceptable. Okay, next slides, please. Now, let's concentrate on the residential area. So again, now, I won't emphasize, but this month, somehow this month of August, have a bad month. I went out, look at it, and so it's juice. We log all the meters, looking for potential leakings, because we don't want to just blindly blame the resident they're using too much water. It turned out there were 5 water meters were slightly leaking. The first one, 5587, which is on top, that was leaking, but the problem has been fixed. So, so that problem solved. But then there's a 4 more one, the meter 3185, 5081, 5040, 3353. Those are, as I watch the meter, they're moved. See, the thing is, if the dial move and completely stop, that means no leaking. It's just someone using water. However, those meters are steadily moved very, very slowly. That, to me, is definitely some sort of leaking. So already turn all those meters to our plumbing division, Mark Stahl, and hopefully they will go look into it and fix those minor leaking. So that's our, and then the last slides, please. So you can see from the bottom line of this slide that so far this year, our water bill, both irrigation and residential, close to $2 million. Do you understand? Do you know that, aware that we have such expensive water bill? Almost $2 million, only 8 months of our whole year. And of course, that's a little bit higher than we are budgeted. So hopefully we can improve this in the near future. And that's the reason why next year we'll try to convert our landscape to water saving or remove a lot of the turfs. Thank you very much.
Thank you, James. As we had stated in the past, we really have to put some energy into this water saving committee. I mean, by the whole board, not just leave it up to James, because we're spending that. We don't realize how much money we're spending in that area, and coming up with all of the different things that we could do to communicate, to work with our residents, to figure out that, other ways that there may be waste or other ways that we can come up with ways to save. So that has to really be an effort by the board.
Yeah, well.
And we could tie it to finance.
Right, well.
Because it is to finance, it
this
is. I mean, I'm looking at you, Jack. No, but I mean, it really is big. And we agreed at our budget meeting that we were not going to increase the amount of money for water, because we were going to really work on it as a team. And we can't just say that it's going to go down because we're going to change to water-saving landscape or because we have recycled water. The basic thing is we really have to put a tremendous amount of energy in that, and then we have to put that on a front burner, so to speak.
Right. Well, one thing, Chiffon, in fact, this is through the inspiration of some resident. In fact, she was the GRF director. In fact, she's in this, associated with this building 5587. And when she saw that such a high tier 4 units, she got upset. She says, "You guys are too gentle. You got more harsh in your letter." Well,
So
we
we-
don't want to
so
do
we-
that, but however, I think from now on, next month, when you send out, communication, the letter to the resident, probably what we should do is we attach the amount of a water bill associated that with the particular meter. When they see that, if it's a water bill, it's $700 or $800 just 1 month, then maybe that will catch their attention, that be conservative. Yes.
Yes, Jack.
We kept a home in Mexico for a number of years, and water is a very, very precious commodity. What the local government did that I think was very inspired is they offered reduced prices for low-flow water equipment. A low-flow shower head, a low-flow toilet. that economically it encouraged owners to do this stuff. We could explore doing the same thing here, I think.
Well, actual El Toro or give, the Water Smart give with a discount, and in fact, all those stuff.
No,
is
but,
El Toro.
but that's a really good point.
Yeah.
We're supposed to turn our phone off. That's a really good point, because we did put a lot of effort into the changing out of the toilets and things like that, and trying to get better prices, but we never followed up on, shower heads or things like that. So maybe we just have to come up with.
Well, actually, El Toro or give free of this low flow shower heads.
Yeah, but the thing
But
is.
turning it into a program.
We have to turn it into a program, because it's like they could give it free, but they could give it to me free, but I don't know how to install it.
The trouble is the residents don't pay for the water.
But,
Yeah,
but
they
that, okay, but the thing is we have to use our energy to make, because it's $2 million, we have to try to use our energy. Even if we offer to, you have to, it's just using our common sense. Maybe they can get the low flow shower heads and we give them a big discount, or we install it for free. I mean,
So the
thing
solution is that we have to have teeth in the letter, and we've
No,
talked.
John, the solution.
We've talked to Eileen about it, because that's the only way. We cannot individually meter the people. Therefore, we can't hold the residents responsible. We can
Okay.
only write letters.
John.
And
John,
Ron wants to say something.
No, but the thing is the letter is one component of what we do. It doesn't matter, we could put more teeth into it, somebody could jump out of the letter and start screaming. The basic thing is to go along with what Jack is saying, is coming up with all of the other alternative things that perhaps we haven't tried yet, and get everybody's ideas. Have the water saving idea box outside, I don't know, so.
Having run a water utility for several years in the municipalities while we were going through the drought, public education coupled with giveaways and water saving techniques like Jack just discussed is the best way to go. So I will work with the communications group on that effort.
So the thing is that this is another one of those things that probably only isn't unique to Third. It's United also. I don't know how their water bills are, because I don't go to their finance meeting. And the fact that the people don't pay for their water, I don't think that we're as conscious about how much the water costs us. So I think that that'll be a great thing to try to get together as a group, to really change the profile of this Water Conservation Committee and get a much more energy put into it. And anything that you need to do, we just have to really work on it. Yes. You want to be on the committee? Your hand was up.
No. I was afraid that was going to happen. I would like to dispel the notion that residents don't pay for this water.
Right.
They in fact do. And it might be helpful if we take the 2 million or whatever that number is, James, when we get to December 30th, and show how much out of your dues you are paying. And
Dues, what
Good
are our
idea.
dues? We don't have dues. The assessments, not dues. This isn't a club.
No, it's definitely not a club.
No, but that's.
I stand corrected, but
Okay, good.
but I
No.
think that's part of the education effort.
Right.
Right.
There is no such thing as a free lunch. We
Well-
all pay for this.
Right.
And if somebody's out there watering their plants, and they've got 15, 20, 30 plants, and they're using up gallons and gallons and gallons of water, everyone in this room is paying for that.
Let me respond to that. We met with our lawyer to find a way that we could have compliance get involved in this thing. And she said, as long as only gate 11s are individually metered, we really can't do anything
The
about it.
thing is we're not talking about going around and giving people tickets, water use tickets. But the thing is it's just, we have to just become much more creative. And I think with the guidance of Siobhan and the energy of the board members, we can make this a big effort.
Communication.
Let me make a last comments and a notion that I want to suggest or recommend to everyone that, now especially the weather has become cold, in the morning, if you want to take a shower or washing, you like to get hot water coming to your faucet sooner, faster. And I spent $200 in the Home Depot. They have this is recirculation pump, costs $200. You can very easily install it on your water heater. And now I will talk to El Toro Water, get them to give you rebate for such an equipment. Because I tell you, without this recirculating pump, usually whatever the position, it takes 1.5 minutes before the hot water comes. Now with this recirculating pump, 30 seconds or less. So not only hot water come quicker, but save water. So I strongly recommend
Okay, well,
everyone
that's gonna-
do that.
there's
And
gonna-
soon,
All right.
if they have a rebate, hey, not gonna cost you that much money.
Okay, so we have to just really, really work on that. Donna, you want to be on that committee? No. I saw your hand up. You just raised your hand and that's it.
I was just thinking that, that's.
Okay, you have to come up, if you want to say,
No, two things just came to me while I was listening. What James said, I think, is really, if you can turn that into some kind of a program, because as you said, it's a great thing, but individual residents aren't going to do it because they're not even going to know, what do I look for? Where is it? How do I find it? But that's a program that can be made where it's actually brought in and sold and done like a chargeable service.
right,
And that would be really part of the committee to get that communication out, form a committee to make it happen. And then the other thing, I don't know if this is possible because I don't know anything about this, but if you take an average, like say, and we're in the, I can't think of our unit, but just say whatever unit you're in, and you get an average, 2 people in that unit, what is the average per month for their water bill? And then somehow charge more. I mean, if you fall out of that average range, you're charged more, something like
yeah,
that. I don't know if that's possible.
Yes, that's one of the things that we went over with our attorney.
Couldn't
And you can't. So the
Can't do
only
it.
thing that we can do is say, this community was put together with you get water and you get trash.
Yeah.
And, and the different things that you get. So we just have to work together as a team.
Right.
Because, I think all of us, and I'm going to step away from water, but all of us have been made aware of the fact that because of negligence and non-caring on the part of some residents, we're spending so much more with trash pickup.
Yeah.
And the thing, and like but you could see that. Like I'll walk outside and I see a big, yesterday I saw one of the garages, somebody had put 2 printers on the floor,
Yeah.
right next door to your building, and outside their trash room.
Yeah.
And the thing is, we don't know who put it there.
No.
Somebody put it there. Somebody knows that we're spending more. And the thing is we just have to get people to care about what their conduct does, how it impacts the community. So separating it into how much we pay for water, how much more, we tried to bring that up at the budget, we're paying for trash because people just don't, and we're trying to do everything for that to make it better. So we just have to make this, we have to have more care about our community.
And yes, and if the averages were figured out, okay, and made part of that program, if you're paying more than this amount and you live in this unit, if you are using more than this, but the residents don't know.
We don't know.
They don't know.
Okay.
Erase that.
All right, thank you, but good ideas. All right, so the next thing is the report of the Resident Policy and Compliance Task Force. We do not have another meeting scheduled, so.
Correct. And I do want to emphasize, this is a task force. It is not a standing committee. So we meet when we have things that we need to work on.
So for example, on Friday morning,
Some of us, yeah.
we are meeting with social services and with our staff regarding improvements in the caretaker policy structure, how the policy to note that you have a caretaker, what could make it work better. So we are trying to work with social services to get their input. But again, as we said before, we're not going to be adding anything new to that agenda until we get the things that we have in place working better. And we really have important, I mean, not that everything isn't important, but we really have to attack this water situation. All right, so next item on the list is just touching on GRF committee highlights. So I am going to say that, do we want to go committee by committee, or do we just, all right, so community activities? Director
Okay, I'll
Parsons.
just highlight a few things. I met with Brian and want to bring some things to your attention. You might know that like a month ago or so, we were trying to get a hold of a portable outdoor stage. And that's something that could be folded up and moved from clubhouse to clubhouse. That's actually been delivered. They've actually taken it down, tested it out, working well. Sound system, I think, is yet to be delivered. Something very important for all club presidents is October 26th in the boardroom is the next club presidents meeting. I would advise you to get here early because there are people sitting right up in front of the dais. There's so many presidents that have come in the past. So if you're a club president, please be sure that you're here early. I don't have a time on that. You'll probably see that posted. Okay, but October 26th.
I think
Yes.
that meeting has been canceled. I got a message the other day, it had been canceled from Recreation.
I just got this information yesterday. Can we do a crawler or something on TV6 on that? To announce that? Okay. Something that is going on, Monday Night Football will continue. It started on September 17th in the ballroom of Clubhouse 5, and they have free popcorn. I think they have other things you can purchase too. That's a hoot. I really enjoyed that. Not so much into football, but I like to be around people that are energized, and they get energized.
Then you can go to the library.
Well, yeah. But also at the football game, wear your paraphernalia that says what team you're for. That always brings up conversation.
You could dress up like a character from a book.
No. Okay, Veterans Day will be honored in Clubhouse 2 on November 11th at 10 a.m. Siobhan, did you want to say anything else about that? Veterans Day?
I don't have anything to add
Okay.
at this point, Steve.
Okay, next meeting is on November 8th, 1:30 p.m. here in the boardroom.
Thank you very much, Steve. Okay, the next item is the Finance Committee. This is the GRF Finance Committee.
Jack, you have
Okay,
anything?
so our next meeting
You
is
want me to cover this,
is October 24th, and that's at 1:30 in the boardroom. And Jack and I are on that committee, right? Okay, so, but Steve has something he wants to add.
That you wanted me to add?
Yes.
Recently, we had, it is, Club President's Meeting postponed. So you'll be let known by other means when it is scheduled, okay? Recently, we had our BlackRock financial investment managers come and give us a presentation. They do this like twice a year. And throughout the presentation, we found out that our investments are not doing as well as we had hoped. And so after the people departed, we looked at each other, and Rosemary mentioned, said, I think we need to have another look at what's going on here by people that really know what's going on. And so out of that came a proposal of the United, Third, and GRF to be able to put two people, they could even be people at large, and Betty, our CFO, on a committee to do a deep dive into investments. And out of that, we have approved our two members to be Jack Conley, our treasurer, and Michael Cunningham here, to be on that. And what they are doing is to look at our existing situation with Merrill Lynch that has BlackRock, do a deep dive into them, look at our investment strategies, look at our philosophies. And since these people know investments, they come from an investment background. they'll be able to do the deep dive and later on give these boards a mini proposals or a proposal of some sort that might possibly increase our percentage of what we get back monthly. We have said that there's no time limit on this, and I think the folks are coming through with names right from the other boards. I heard that United was getting close on 2 of them. GRF, have they announced theirs? I don't know. Okay. Okay. I know GRF has 2 people in mind. One of them is one of their financial advisors. In case you don't know, Michael Cunningham is a finance advisor to us. He's been an international banker, definitely been involved in investments, same with Jack here. So hopefully out of this deep dive, we'll be able to get recommendations that can improve our yield and possibly investment strategies. So just wanted to make that available to everybody so that they know what's happening.
And again, this subject matter has come up for years, and there are always mixed opinions. And the biggest thing is our committee will not lose sight of the fact that we have to have a conservative investment philosophy to the extent that we're dealing with everybody's money here. So it isn't like you're having your slush fund and you're going to go out and buy some people are really good at this. But there's so many things to investigate. Are we paying the right fees? That's always my favorite one. Are we just been with this company for so long that we could be doing much better with Vanguard? And, because I moved all my money to Vanguard and I was happy with them. But the thing is, well, it certainly wasn't that much, but no, but the thing is that we have people in our community, residents, who are experts in this. And so that they could sit down and say, did we look at this? Did we look at that? Did we look at this? So it's not necessarily that, and we do not want anyone to panic that we're going to be coming in and recommending the total changing of our investment policy. We can't. That's our fiduciary duty to make sure that we stay within the guidelines of how you would manage money for a senior community. But are we wasting any of it? Are we being short-sighted with it? And that is what the committee is doing. Am I correct?
Well, yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, very general, a lot of different aspects.
Right. I'm not an investment genius, so there are aspects of it that you would know. So, so that's what we need. And this is where it's so important to call on the expertise of our residents.
And one other thing is we want to be sure that our yield, even though it looks good on paper, it's very low. And because of this, fees and other penalties that may be assessed to us may be eroding our principal. We do not want that to happen. So that's really of concern right now, and the time is right for a deep dive.
Okay, so the next, and thank you very much for working on this. The next thing you're going to be looking in is do we have the best banking arrangement that we should have? And I know that's very important too. Don't you worry, we want to keep you busy, Jack. All right, so the next thing is the Landscape Committee for GRF. Have they had a meeting yet? Or is this
No,
going to be?
this December will be the very first one on December 19th, 2:30 in, I thought it was in upstairs, but we'll find out. But it's on December 19th.
Okay, so GRF had disbanded their Landscape Committee.
Yeah.
And, or they didn't have it, or I don't know what happened to it, but now they've decided to start it up again. And their landscape is different than ours. They have the golf course, which is one thing, but they realize how important it is. Plus, we're testing different types of low water usage plants at some of the clubhouses. So they are starting this up again. And thank you very much, Director Tung, for participating. The next is the M&C Committee. Bunny, I'm sure you have something to report.
Yes, there was there was a request made to expand the video club. And so Ernesto presented a floor plan, and it's really is minor alterations. and it doesn't need approval, but he brought it, and the reason it doesn't need approval is because it's under the 25,000 threshold, but it will cost us about approximately 18,000 for the new layout. There's no structural changes, it's just some removal of walls and expansion. I do have a plan here, but I don't think everybody could see it. And the other thing that was voted on in the closed meeting was they awarded a contract for construction documents for the PAC. And they also approved maintenance and equipment, for the HVAC control replacement, which will be in the community center. That's it.
Thank you very much, Bunny.
Okay.
Media and communications?
Yes, we met yesterday afternoon, and a couple of things to report. On the media side, Chuck Holland let us know that we can anticipate slight increases in the rates for basic cable, and that he will be presenting us with a complete rate structure at our next meeting. He also announced that we're finished with the analog conversion, which means that if you have an old TV and you don't get one of these little boxes that can bring in the digital feed, you're not going to be able to see a whole lot. So it is creating some problems for some folks that just don't want to get into the digital age. And Chuck's going to be, his staff will be working with them to try to help them out. But the real solution is to spend a couple of $100 and buy a digital TV. They're not that expensive anymore. On the communications side, Eileen, and I think this was already mentioned, it wasn't mentioned today, that we're canceling the Breeze for October. With all of the presentations, with all of the work that Eileen and her staff have done with the elections and with end of year and everything she's done for us, we just don't have the bandwidth to get that Breeze out for October. It will be coming out November 1st. She is focused on special projects on a couple of things. One, she's going to be focusing on what she calls trash talk. And it relates specifically to getting this community to understand that leaving couches, sofas, beds, toilets, everything you can imagine in the trash areas is an expensive proposition because we're picking it up. The other thing, and I went home yesterday afternoon after all of this, and here are my 2 recycling dumpsters with the warnings on them that we're going to get billed for what they call contamination. You can't just throw anything you want into a recycling dumpster. And I would like to know, if anybody knows, how much we're actually paying in fines to Waste Management for those contaminants. This is the second time in 2 months we've received that.
My understanding is that they're pretty much in the warning phase right now rather than the punitive stage, but we are moving to the punitive stage.
Yeah, that's what I'm afraid of, because it's happening more than once. The next thing she's working on is trying to expand the reach of our Code Red program. This is the program that she manages when we have an emergency notification. For example, the blow-up of transformer over at Gate 7 a couple of weeks ago and the power outage that followed. Also, the fire that occurred in Aliso Viejo, residents could see the smoke and they were concerned. A lot of things that come under Code Red. Her biggest problem is that she doesn't have all the email addresses. And email and text are the least expensive way of getting in touch with the residents. If you have to do mailings or if you have to pick up a phone and dial a home phone number, that costs us a whole lot more. So it's important residents understand that if they have emails, get them to resident services. And if you have a cell phone, that number should be there as well. And the last thing she's working on, and this is the tough one, I think somebody mentioned it earlier, and that is how do we communicate with offline residents? We have about 20% of our units in Third that do not have an internet connection. And so how do we get the word out? And so she's going to be working on that with the help of this committee. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Roy. The next thing is the mobility and vehicles. Anything to report, Director Frankel?
At a previous meeting, the GRF M&V committee approved expanding the bus system to 7 days a week, the regular scheduled bus system, subject to the approval of the cost, and then it would go to the GRF board. The cost came back for the additional 2 days, $560,000 annually. So therefore, at the last meeting, the Mobility and Vehicle Committee rejected the extension of the bus scheduled systems, and it's now going to remain at 5 days a week, with Plan-A-Ride covering the gap.
Thank you very much. The Security and Community Access, Director Bruninghouse.
Yes, the meeting for September was canceled. Our next meeting is October 22nd at 1:30 here in the boardroom.
I have a question. I'll direct this to Siobhan. Do we have any updated schedule as to when these gates that we were promised? First, we were promised them at the beginning of the year, then it was delayed. And we had a very serious conversation with Brad about we can't tell the residents we're going to do something and then it doesn't happen. So do we have an updated schedule that, and if you don't have it now, could you deliver it at our next meeting?
Well, I have a brief update. Ernesto will bring the contract forward to MNC in December, and then it will come on to the board, and then construction.
Okay, the thing that I don't understand is if they're ready for the contract, why would we wait to December to bring it to the board? I mean, they're bringing it to the board of GRF. I mean, what I don't understand is we were promised, and this isn't, you weren't here, we were promised that there was going to be an early release of funds. This was last year. And they couldn't do it. So we were promised that it was going to start at the beginning of the year. Now we're going into December and we're just bringing the contract to the board. And that is a whole year later. And we know how important these gates are. So do you know, can you find out?
Why don't I get back to you with the complete information?
Because Third is willing to have an emergency, let's vote on the contract meeting at the drop of a hat. All Bunny has to do is say, let's get together, and we schedule it. So I mean, because people are saying, well, now we're only going to only get 2 done, and then it's going to be 2 more, and it's just, because the funding is there, it's not a funding problem. Okay, so you can get back to us. All right, the disaster preparedness, John, you already talked to us about the shakeout.
Just one more thing. In Clubhouse 5, they're running a practice exercise this coming Thursday at 10:18 for the Great California Shakeout, and they're going to do practice emergency services there, medical, that sort of thing.
We used to have to do that in San Francisco all the time. And I remember once my assignment was, if somebody, so we had to walk up the floors of the buildings and whatever, and if somebody got a pencil in their eye, what should you do? I never forget that class. I failed, but so I'm sure that it'll be a great experience for us. All right. So, all right. So at this time, we know we have some future agenda items, so I can go around the table. And I already sent a note to Sandra saying we're early. So this is time for director comments. Paul, do you have anything? Well, you look a little better today.
Well, I do have issues.
All right. Well, we hope that you'll be better soon. Bunny.
No.
John.
No, thank you.
Jack.
No.
James.
No.
Steve. Roy.
Yes. Please, send me your planned absences by email so I have a record of it for the next 3 months. 4 of you have done a beautiful job, but the rest of you I have not heard from. And again, not by word of mouth. Don't you know, I gotta have it on the record, and I will complete the sheet, everybody will get a nice copy of it, so we can plan our meetings, because if we don't have a quorum, we can't meet. So please get that information to you. Thank you.
Kush? Lynn? Siobhan? Cheryl? No? Okay. This meeting is
Is
adjourned. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Madam President. Good job.
Are we going to the Sycamore? Kush? Are we going to the Sycamore?
You're not-